So a while ago, I made a video called Sinning Dartigan's GameSins episode on Uncharted Drake's Fortune. I liked the video, honestly, and it looks like you guys did too. It didn't take too long to make it, and at the end of the video, I foreshadowed more of these videos coming out. So I had this idea. Make more.
It's only the second game in the series, and already I feel the quote from the famous explorer is unneeded. I get it, these are real-life famous adventurers. Nathan Drake is an adventurer following in their footsteps. I mean, it's not quite on a level of Call of Duty quoting Dick Cheney at you, but just damn, we get it.
I don't really see a problem with opening an adventure game with a quote by the guy whose treasure you're looking for, especially when the previous game opened with the same thing. So it'd kind of be weird if you didn't open with a quote, honestly.
Now this is how you start a game off in medias res. Shot in the stomach and hanging upside down in a train off a mountain. Take note of the developers. One sin removed.
Damn straight. But I'm not removing any sins this time around. I want this to be an accurate count at how many mistakes you've made. In fact, I'm going to add a sin for spelling in medias res wrong and pronouncing it wrong. Sure, that's nitpicky, but that's kind of the point, and I just realized that made me sound super mean. So I'll take this time to say that I like Dartigan and I hold no ill feelings toward him. I'm just poking fun. So if I sound mean, know that I don't mean it. Anyway, let's continue.
Also, since when did Nate smoke?
Buy me a drink, sailor.
There is no ding sound at the end of that sin.
Flynn, we both know two people who were killed trying to lift something out of this place.
And one who made it out.
Yeah, barely.
I can't do this without you, Drake. You're the only one who's cracked it, and you know better than anyone it's a two-person job.
No. 3, actually.
Right. And speak of the devil, here she comes now.
All of this talk about how robbing the Istanbul Palace Museum is a three-person job is rendered moot when it's revealed that Chloe is just the getaway driver. Meaning the entire robbery is done by just 2 people while one waits outside.
Yeah, so that means it's a 3-person job. Also, I think it would be a slower getaway if Chloe wasn't the getaway driver, as Nate and Flynn would have to safely put whatever they stole in the car. One of them would have to start the car and drive away, while if Chloe was there, they could just get in the car and get the hell out of there, while Nate and Flynn keep their stuff safe.
Trebizond, we were set upon by thieves. Father, Maffeo, and I were robbed of our greatest treasures. This was written by Marco Polo.
Yes, that much we were able to work out.
Unfortunately, the rest of it's nonsense.
Hey, hold on.
You can read the first few lines, but the rest is nonsense. Nate reads it and there's clearly no nonsense contained within.
I concealed my great sorrow in the unlikeliest place. The light of the great Khan shelters the fate of the 13.
See what I mean? It's just gibberish.
He's talking about the lost fleet.
Yeah.
I know, someone want to fill me in?
You tracked Nate down just to offer him this dangerous job and you hadn't even figured out what it was that you were after? How did you even figure it was worth all of your time?
Oh boy, a lot to unpack here. Okay, so by nonsense, he means that the sentence doesn't make any sense. And when he said, anyone want to fill me in, he didn't forget why he was there. He was wondering what the sentence meant. The reason this lamp was of importance because it was in the files of Lazarevich and the inscriptions on the lamp. So this scene makes absolute sense.
Look at this lamp. It's covered in Mongolian script. It must have been a gift from Kublai Khan.
The light of the great Khan shelters the fate of the 13.
I'm pretty sure even people in the 13th century would have just written lamp rather than be so fucking obtuse.
Yeah, but he was trying to keep a secret, so using unconventional wording would probably be a good idea.
You sure you're up for this? Feel a lot better if I had a gun. We won't need them. A little insurance, that's all.
Flynn, they're just museum guards.
You had a conversation with Flynn about how dangerous robbing this museum was before coming here. You even said 2 of your friends died trying to rob it. In fact, you considered it so dangerous that at first you wanted no part of the job.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Obviously, the only way to solve that problem is murder. Also, I'll just mention guns are very loud.
Have you ever been in a Turkish prison, mate?
I've watched Airplane so many times that this line can only sound like a creepy pedophile pickup line to me.
I fail to see how that's the game's problem, and not yours.
If we get caught, they will lock us up and throw away the sodding key. You do realize that, don't you?
Is that somehow different from any other prison?
Plus, what he said was wrong, as when Sully bails Nate out from the same prison Flynn is talking about, you can see the guard opening the cell with a key.
See you on the other side.
Of what exactly? That line is so meaningless anymore that you can say it when parting with someone no matter the context.
That's probably why he said it.
Yeah, he's totally dead. Going completely against Nate's earlier claims and not wanting to kill anyone here because they're just security guards.
Nope, you can see him swim away if you look closely. The real sin here maybe is that he didn't tell anyone there's a break-in on his little walkie-talkie, although maybe the water broke it or something. Anyway, what you said is a sin, so I'm digging it and moving on. Even though my sound isn't a ding.
Oh, hell yes. I was in before you were.
Coming from Sully, that sounds incredibly dirty.
That's the point.
In his journal, he wrote that the worthy seeker would be given a golden passport to conquer obstacles on the journey to Shambhala.
I'm pretty sure even Marco Polo in the 13th century would have just written, "The fucking knife is a key, you cunts," rather than be so goddamn obtuse.
Between Greater India and the province of Tibet lies a field of exquisitely finished temples. Hundreds of gilded spires stretching as far as the eye can see.
What's this? Marco Polo writing specific directions and information? Shouldn't he have written it more like, "Between the lands of..." You know, I just realized I don't know enough culturally, geographically, or historically about India and Tibet to write this in. But you get the point.
Okay, first you sin the game for having someone write cryptically. Then right after sin the game for having the same someone not write cryptically.
Yeah, that fall would totally kill them.
Are you unaware that landing in water is different from landing on solid ground?
This heavily armored truck explodes for no reason.
It explodes because you unloaded like 4 clips of AK-47 bullets into the engine area in the span of like 15 seconds.
This heavily armored truck explodes for no reason.
Seems like I am always saving your ass.
Also, I've played the game before, and I know you've skipped ahead around 10-15 minutes into the game, but the way you edited the footage made it look like the truck you said exploded for no reason was blown up by Chloe's RPG. So that right there is an editing sin.
Seems like I am always saving your ass.
Well, it is an ass worth saving.
Even though Nate is talking about his own ass here, the camera would like you to know which ass is really worth the time.
I think that's the point. I'd just like to mention here that in my notes, right beside that last sin, is in brackets saying ass comment.
So this is the key to everything.
Yes, it is. Marco Polo's passport to Shambhala.
Yes, as explained back in Borneo. Were you not listening, or did you not understand Marco Polo's cryptic bullshit either?
I don't get this sin. He just reminded Chloe that it's a passport to Shambhala. That doesn't mean he doesn't get something. All he did was repeat Marco Polo's little letter.
Holy shit.
Dartigan doesn't sin the fact that the helicopter came out of nowhere.
Hey, it's Elena, and she's got a real news camera and cameraman this time. Looks like someone got a promotion. Though carrying around a gun while reporting is something no reporter would ever do, since that kind of violates the idea of impartiality if you're actively engaging in the war you're covering.
Dartigan doesn't sin the fact that Elena and Drake just so happened to meet again. Also, while I somewhat agree on the impartiality thing, the gun would also help her stay alive in this civil war and against Lazarevich's men.
So, what's your angle on all this misery? You gonna plunder a few temples, loot the museum?
You mean those things both of you did in the last game and you had no problem with at the time, and were the one most enthusiastic about all of it?
They never looted a museum in the first game.
No. Tell me you don't have anything to do with this.
Why are you pissed at Drake for following around the same exact guy you are? What you're doing is equally as dangerous.
I would say because Nate is instigating and pretty much provoking Lazarevich and his men and also killing a lot of them. He's also after the same treasure, which Elena isn't after at the moment.
You carry him all the way from the temple. Shame.
Villain shoots people just to prove what a bastard he is, cliché.
I think you made a sin almost exactly like this earlier.
You would betray me for this?
No, Zoran, I can't explain.
No need.
Villain kills his own men to prove what a bastard he is, cliché. I speak for everyone who's ever played this game when I say, fuck this train. Fuck this train in particular.
Well, on Crushing and Brutal, yes. On any other difficulty, it's the best part of the game. By the way, I beat this on Crushing and Brutal, so please acknowledge me.
Also, Nate should be able to guess that Schaefer was a Nazi by his German accent and the fact that he went looking for the Sintamani stone 70 years ago. That time frame doesn't really leave many other possibilities.
Schaefer's German accent is not really all too noticeable and is buried under the strain of his voice as he is pretty old. Also, just because he went looking for the Chintamani stone in the 40s wouldn't mean Drake automatically assumes he's a Nazi. I don't even think he knows Nazis are involved with the treasure yet. Also, it's kind of rude to just assume people are Nazis. Also, and I don't know why I haven't mentioned this up till now, but he keeps on calling the Chintamani stone the Sintamani stone?
Monsters always know where the camera is located so they can stand in front of it at the perfect angle so as not to reveal too much about them.
Dartigan doesn't remove a sin for the excellent camera work done and instead adds a sin.
That is one shitty bridge if so. The arms don't connect and you need 2 people on both ends of the cavern to raise it. Also, they could have just built a real fucking bridge. Again, they could have just built a real bridge. I know I keep saying they should have just built bridges, and this technically is a bridge, but I think they might have gotten a bit too excited about finally building one and taking it a step too far.
If those other bridges weren't real bridges, what makes this one a real bridge in your eyes? Nothing connects, it's just a few stone tablets you hop across. Also, Dartigan doesn't sin the fact that people decades and decades and decades ago somehow made these contraptions and statues of such scale.
You mean you can get to the room with Schaefer's dead expedition team by elevator, and that elevator was just outside the village? Why didn't Schaefer tell them to take the easy way rather than the near suicidal route?
You can only activate the elevator from the inside.
Why would you hand her the knife and walk away?
Knife? That's not a knife.
Also the man you made Nate promise to take down not long ago when you gave him back the knife.
Knife? It wasn't a knife.
You think I am a monster, but you're no different from me, Drake.
You and I are not so different, Cliché.
How many men have you killed? How many just today?
Actually, he might have a point with that one. Drake has killed a lot of people today.
I'm not sure in which video, but you specifically called out once that you hate when villains say that. As you should, as they are acting in self-defense, blah blah blah, ludonarrative dissidence, or whatever. Then you say that here, this guy has a point? Huh?
Original Temple Run.
One game has you running out of a crumbling temple. And the other one also has you running out of a temple that came out after this one. So this doesn't really make sense.
Stare out into the sunset, Cliché.
Also, not to mention, another obvious skybox.